Picture this, a classroom full of students with access to Google's newest AI tools, Gemini, NotebookLM, all for free. They can generate essays, summarize sources, even brainstorm creative projects in just seconds. But when you ask how they decide what to trust or how to use these tools responsibly, most don't even know when to start and are left to figure it out themselves. A new Oxford University Press study found that 8 in 10 students are already using AI for schoolwork, yet fewer than half feel confident identifying when information is inaccurate or misleading, and they are not alone. A 2025 survey from the Center for Democracy and Technology found that 85% of teachers and 86% of students have used AI this year, but very few have had any real training or guidance. It's time to ask, what are we doing and why? We have given students incredible tools, but we have given them absolutely no frameworks with which how to use them well, and we are literally hitting 3 years in. The result, more access, but much less understanding, which means a lot of room for mistakes. And that's the reality in classrooms today, and that is exactly why conversations like the one you're here for today really matter. Hey everyone, I'm Saba. I've worked with hundreds of organizations, including Apple, USC, and now I'm an AI strategist helping teams and individuals prepare for how AI is transforming education and the workplace. And from experience, it's easy to see that the future our students are stepping into looks nothing like the one that we grew up in. For most of history, success followed a simple formula: school, job, retirement. You learned a skill, you found stability, and you stayed in one place for decades. That worked when the world moved much slower. But today, tools like Gemini's NotebookLM and many other AI-powered platforms are completely changing what it means to learn, work, and create in today's world. Students can research, summarize, brainstorm ideas, even launch a podcast, all from the phone or laptop. So the real question isn't what can AI do? It's time we start asking what can they do with AI that reflects their creativity, curiosity, and voice. When I started my career in 2007, I saw the beginnings of that change. You see, the iPhone had just launched back then. Social media platforms were beginning to take off with the app economy, and suddenly the classroom was no longer the limit to learning anymore. Now that transformation has completely accelerated. AI is reshaping this decade faster than the internet reshaped mine. The challenge isn't keeping up with technology, it's knowing how to lead with it. Because when anyone can generate an answer, your ability to think critically, design creatively, and show your process and how you made choices along the way is going to become what sets you apart. One of my former students, Emmy, is a great example of this. She used tools like Gemini and NotebookLM to go beyond assignments. She built projects, she launched her own business, she even wrote a book before the age of 17 and is sharing her learning journey with people online, presenting at conferences, and so much more. Her work isn't just polished, it's personal. It shows who she's becoming. And that's what this generation needs most. Opportunities to create, to reflect, to try, fail, and show what they know in ways that matter. Which brings us to the real challenge. Our schools were not built for this world. They were built for a world that rewarded compliance. That in an AI-powered world, readiness is going to mean something completely different for our young people. For over a century, this education system has been designed for a world that valued memorization, repetition, and following directions. But AI has completely changed the rules. Today's students are expected to think critically, create independently, and adapt constantly. Yet most classrooms still reward getting the right answer over asking the right question. Now, many people call this generation AI natives because they've grown up surrounded by technology. That is a very misleading term because growing up with AI isn't the same as understanding how to use it wisely. We called yesterday's kids digital natives, and look how that turned out. A Save Oxford University Press article found that while 8 in 10 students already use AI for tools, like I said, less than half of them feel confident identifying information. Teachers feel the exact same way. But you know what kids also ask for? They say, I want my teachers to teach me. I want to know how to make better choices and better ways in which to use these tools because I worry about my own thinking and my own future. We've given students and educators the tools. It is now time to make sure everyone has a roadmap for the future instead of the one they're using for the past. When adoption moves faster than understanding, we really risk confusing activity for learning. And that's why schools need to have a better conversation to reimagine what readiness looks like. Because readiness today, like I said, isn't just about memorizing information. It's about knowing how to learn, how to adapt, and how to use technology to think more deeply, not just faster. In this new world, the best thing we can teach students isn't just how to keep up with technology, it's how to lead with it. So what is readiness going to look like in the age of AI? I believe it's going to start with 3 core areas: identity, integrity, and impact. Identity is going to be about helping students understand who they are. We talk a lot about AI. We need to spend more time talking about people, our strengths, our stories, and ultimately what I call our human spark. Because when you know what makes you come alive, you can use technology with purpose instead of just putting it on autopilot and letting it do everything for you. Next is integrity. This is about discernment, knowing how to make good choices, especially when no one is watching. AI gives endless options, but wisdom is learning to pause and ask, is this right for me? Is this right for my team? Does this align with our values? Last but not least is impact, turning ideas into action. Students should leave school not just with grades, but with portfolios and projects that show what they built, created, and contributed. Proof of their curiosity and creativity in a world where everyone now has access to the same tools. This is the big shift we need to make yesterday. Instead of teaching students to compete with technology, we have to teach them how to collaborate with it, to use AI as a thinking partner and not as a replacement. We've already seen glimpses of this in classrooms that are experimenting with Gemini, NotebookLM, and Canva. Students are using AI to design prototypes, record podcasts, and build digital portfolios that tell their story. Because in this new era, learning is not just about mastering content or getting that grade or test score. It's going to be about mastering yourself, the process, your perspective, and above all, your purpose. That's how we're going to prepare them, not just for the next test, but for the next decade. Students can use Google Gemini to explore questions more deeply, brainstorm ideas, and reflect on their own thinking, not to skip the work, but to strengthen it. But only if we show them how. Sure, some might have figured it out, all of them. They use tools like NotebookLM to organize information, compare perspectives, get information told to them in different ways like podcasts and videos, and help them make complex topics feel more simple and personable. You can use Google's Code with Nano to turn creative ideas into working prototypes, or ImageFX to visualize concepts that used to live only in their imagination. You can use Canva to generate app prototypes. They aren't shortcuts. These are scaffolds and exposure. It gives students the freedom to experiment, reflect, and extend their thinking in ways were not possible just 5 years ago, heck, not even 3 years ago. In my new course, Design Your Future, this is exactly what we are teaching for free. It's going to be a resource for both educators, counselors, students, and parents who want to go beyond theory and actually want to help young people make good, thoughtful choices and learn alongside this new emerging technology. Through short little videos, reflective prompts, and a portfolio project, students, teachers, and everyone really can learn how to think critically with AI, build digital portfolios, and design learning that shows their growth. This isn't just hypothetical. I have spent the past 3 years doing this, and that's why now we'll bring it to all of you. At Desert Sands, I saw this in action when we did their Student Agency Day. Students used what they call the RISE framework to explore what good decision-making looked like with AI and what that really means when they're using it, when to pause, and how to make sure that they were deepening their learning, not just replacing it. You see, they weren't just learning about technology or bias or hallucination or the definition of an algorithm. They were learning about themselves, how they reflect, how they inquire, how they like to share and evaluate their choices in real time. Also did this for a group of schools across Central America at their Student Leadership Conference. We took the exact same approach. Students across Central America used tools like Gemini, NotebookLM, and Canva to design projects around the UN Sustainable Development Goals. They focused on topics like mental health, sustainability, and equity, using AI to research, design, and bring their ideas to life. There are so many different ways in which we can do this work. But these moments show what happens when students have both freedom and structure. The freedom to explore new tools and the structure to reflect how you're using them. That's where agency begins. That's what readiness looks like today. Learning is no longer going to be about just simply waiting to follow directions. It's going to be about taking initiative to learn how to learn. Watching those students at Desert Sands and ASCA reminded me what real learning looks like. It's not about ever having the right answer. It is about knowing how to think, how to reflect, how to take action when nobody tells you. Because that's what the future today demands. Students who can design, question, and create their own paths in a world that is constantly changing. There's so much AI can help us with along the way. It's going to be up to us to guide who we are becoming. If you're an educator or a school leader who wants to help students build these skills to move simply from using AI to using it with purpose, that is exactly what my new free course is all about. It's designed to help you reimagine readiness, integrate tools like Gemini NotebookLM in meaningful ways, and give your students the confidence to lead in this new era. Because the future of education will not be just about keeping up with technology. It will be about designing learning that keeps students human and helps them develop what will be their human advantage in an AI world.